Jess was on this vacation in Rome, and she stumbled upon this fragment. Ooh. It was like a Roman ancient marble piece. So she picked it up. She thought, I'm giving this to my boyfriend for a gift. And she wrote on it, to Sam, love Jess, Rome, 2017.
Oh, it's so sweet.
That's beautiful. I don't know what happened in the relationship, but I'm guessing, this is a wild guess. I don't know, Jess. I don't know, Sam, but I think something happened in the relationship because she mailed it back to Rome.
What?
Yeah. It was a block of ancient Roman marble, and she was guilt-ridden that she took this, and she sent it right back to National Museum in Italy with a little note and said it was inconsiderate and disrespectful, and she felt even worse for scribbling on it. She should have never taken that thing. Actually, it was against the law to take that thing, but they've accepted her apology, and I don't know how they're going to get the Sharpie stuff off of that rock.
Certainly. I think they have, don't they have people that repair that type of thing, like art and whatever? I don't want to say they sandblast it or pressure wash it, but they do something to restore art like that.
Yeah. And it was old. I mean, they're talking centuries old.
I would think.
That they're guessing. So, well, yes, I'm sorry it didn't work out. I'm glad you sent it back.
Finally.
His morning crew.
This is George Clooney. Listen to what he says right here.
I've been cutting my own hair for 25 years.
He's been cutting his own hair for 25 years.
He does a pretty good job.
Yeah, his hair looks like it's on point. Yeah, George Clooney. Talk about the actor, George Clooney. So he was on CBS this morning, and he revealed something about his, okay, we'll just start it from the beginning. He's going to repeat what he just told you, but wait till you hear the next 20 seconds. It's going to be revealing about this guy.
I've been cutting my own hair for 25 years.
So it has nothing to do with quarantine?
No. Look, my hair's like really like straw, and so it's easy to cut. You can't really make too many mistakes. So years ago, I bought a thing called a Flowbee, which when we were
when
I was a kid, my haircuts take literally 2 minutes. I go,
is this Flowbee?
Yeah, it's Flowbee.
That is awesome.
Yeah, listen, man, it works.
Flowbee. A Flowbee. Do you even remember what a Flowbee is? If you weren't around in the 90s, and if you didn't watch infomercial in the 90s, which they ruled TV, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's an attachment that you put at the end of your vacuum cleaner. It has blades in it. You turn on the vacuum cleaner. It starts the sucking action, of course. The blades start going. You put it on your hair. You cut your hair. That's a Flowbee. And George Clooney has been using that for 25 years.
But see, that's where you lose me. You have the vacuum cleaner with that sucking action and blades on your head.
Yeah,
so
right?
I don't think that would have stopped me from making that call to the Flowbee Corporation.
Cuts his own hair, 25 years, always on point. All those movies that you've seen him in for the past 25 years, George Clooney does his own hair.
Well, if he's that thrifty and everything, no wonder he's like a billionaire.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
So here's Mike and Dex. They work together on the police force, and they started with each other in drug enforcement. But there was just something a little off with Dex. Well, actually, his name is Dexter. Dexter was just way too sociable to be in drug enforcement.
That's sweet. He was too friendly.
Too friendly. I know it sounds, you don't want to put sweet and police officer together unless they're doing, something really super nice for somebody. But when you're in drug enforcement, you can't be sweet.
Mm-mm. No,
you can't be sociable. You don't go up to the guy who's, doing, the drug deal and go, hey, how you doing, buddy? And put your arm around him and lick his face. Wait a minute. Dexter, I'm sorry. Dexter's a dog.
Yeah. Oh, yes. We need to let that point be known.
Dexter is a dog. So dogs lick faces, right? Yeah. And they're nice and sociable and jump up on people and all that. Dexter's just too nice to be in the drug force. And so instead of firing Dexter, they moved him over to the well-being department for the police force.
And I'm so glad they did that, because as a drug dog, you got to be aggressive and you've got to be, a little more serious. This guy, he gets to be his own personality. And what he does is really uplift and encourage them. That's exactly what his job is. He goes in, he makes them feel better, and they get distracted from, all the junk that they have to see kind of every day. And it makes them smile.
Yeah, so when they're in therapy, there's Dexter, just comforting, looking on the face, jumping up on them, laying in their lap. You can't do that in the drug enforcement. I mean, you're supposed to go after the perp and just knock them down. Instead, Dexter will go up and lick their face. Hey, buddy.
Can you
He's just too
imagine
nice.
something like that going down and Dexter just runs up and is like, "Hi, my name is Dexter. I like to take long walks on the beach." Hi.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Instead of super subs, which makes them sound like sandwiches, I'm just going to call them superheroes. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio, and that is the parents that are stepping up for the substitute teachers that have to substitute for the teachers that are out because of COVID. A lot of substitute teachers are now getting it, so parents are stepping up as super subs.
Yeah. There was a teacher shortage in some parts of the country, even before the pandemic. And then since, of course, it's just grown exponentially. So, parents are stepping in. So here's what's happening. I don't know if they're still having to go through substitute training or if they're just coming in as, I hate to say babysitters, but just sort of to watch the classes. But a lot of the parents are saying, you know what? I'm there. I'm substituting for a substitute who's substituting for a teacher, but I am all in. I'm going to make sure that these kids learn to the best of my and their ability.
And the super subs have got a lot of at-home training because of the virtual schools. I mean, my wife is 3 days a week down with Elijah right in front of that computer screen, and she's helping to teach and get it right. That's just something that a lot of teachers are doing that. And a lot of parents are doing that, I should say.
And thank you to them.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
You know it. When you're a coffee fan and you smell that coffee, it just does something for you. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio.
If you're a frontline worker, you can get free coffee all month long, all the month of December. All you have to do is show your ID at Starbucks, and what they're going to give you is a free tall, hot, or iced coffee. Firefighters, paramedics, nurses, doctors. I mean, the whole thing. If you are a frontline worker, you get free coffee.
Look at that. I remember the first time I went in and I ordered a tall. I was thinking this thing's going to be humongous big. It's going to be the biggest cup of coffee I ever have received. And it came in a little cup. I thought, shouldn't you call this small? Not tall?
The tall should be called small. Yes, exactly. They have a Trenti.
What's
you ever heard of that? It's
that's the one that's bigger than the venti thing, right?
Right. It's like a vat o' coffee. That's all I can. I don't see how you drive your car and drink a a Trenti.
Yeah. Well, and how does it fit in your bladder?
I don't know.
That's the big thing right there.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Sounds like the longest road trip ever to me. Atlanta, Georgia to Alaska. And then you're stranded in snow. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. But yet, how she got help to get to where her husband's stationed in Alaska is amazing.
Yeah, it is. Lynn and her family, couple of kids, they packed up the car. Her husband was already in Alaska. He was already stationed. He was at the military base, and they said, okay, we're going to go join Dad. So they pack the car and they head out. Of course, being from the South, she's not real familiar with driving in all the snow. So she gets up to Canada. Canada, during the COVID-19 pandemic, has said, you've got like 5 days to get in and get out of this country. Because she didn't know how to drive in the snow. She was having some issues. She needed help. She was stranded. She didn't have snow tires and things like that. So she went on social media and said, I need help. So there's a guy and his wife that saw this post and they said, yeah, I can help you drive that 1,000 miles to get to Alaska. No worries whatsoever. And he did. He helped Lynn and her kids reunite with her husband, asking for nothing in return at all.
Amazing. Just did it because they wanted to help.
Yeah.
And get a nice road trip out of it, too.
Oh, I know. Maybe saw parts of his own country that he'd never seen before. Maybe he'd never been to Alaska. But the road trip, they are forever grateful to this man who put his life on hold just to help a stranger in need.
His morning crew.
I really equate breakdancing to the 80s, but it started a lot sooner than that. I mean, it was like in the early to mid 70s, but there's a guy named Richard Crazy Legs Colon who really started back in the late 70s. He's one of their pioneers for breakdancing. Have you ever tried to breakdance, Rob?
I moonwalk.
You moon? I have got to see that at some point.
And I can do that little MC Hammer, don't touch this, move back and forth where he goes.
That thing with
Yeah.
the parachute pants.
Ho, 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 ho. Yeah. The parachute pants
Okay.
I have really make it.
Okay, we have to see all of this. But something we're going to see in the Olympics coming up in 2024?
Got to
They're
be
going to have
breakdancing.
Breakdancing.
Wow.
Yes.
Breakdancing in the Summer Olympics, I guess.
Yes, in the Summer
Wow.
Olympics. They have some other sports that are going to be in the Olympics in Tokyo: climbing, skateboarding, surfing. But they're trying to add some other sports because they want the Olympics to be more youthful and more urban, according to the Olympic Committee. So, yeah, breakdancing is being thrown in, and I cannot wait to see this happen.
I hope the surfing works out, because what if wherever they're doing the surfing, surf's not up?
Oh, right. How do you overcome that?
Yeah, really, because you have to have waves for surfing. So that'll be interesting to see in 2024. I'm glad they're going to have a half pipe for skateboards. I mean, they have the snowboarding, right?
Yes, they do. They've had that for a while.
For Winter Olympics, so you might as well have
Yeah.
skateboarding for that.
Yeah, and I think we needed something. Not that I didn't enjoy the curling, but it's hard. It's a little hard to watch for hours on end. I'm just saying.
Hey, if you need an app, just put on the curling.
His morning crew.
I wear makeup pretty much every day. If I go out without makeup, I do feel odd. I feel different. Now, my daughter really doesn't wear much at all. She'll wear a little mascara, some eyeliner, and I'm just like, I couldn't do that. Evidently, a lot of women are starting to ditch their makeup. Like more than half are saying during the pandemic, they've realized they don't need to wear makeup. On Zoom calls and whatnot, they haven't been going as many places. So they're getting rid of some of their products. And they also, and I get this, feel overwhelmed by the amount of products that we buy as far as makeup goes.
I don't know. My daughter puts on a lot of makeup.
Yeah.
So I've seen it. She's out of the house now because she's all grown.
Right.
She's a big girl.
Yeah. Like I've seen her like on Instagram and that kind of thing. And she likes to, have the bronzer and the stuff just like I do. You want to hide certain things that you don't want people to see and highlight things you do want them to see.
Liz just said something I had no idea even existed. A bronzer. Don't know what that is. I've noticed a lot of actresses, especially some of the show hosts, are no longer wearing makeup and making a point of not doing it on purpose.
Right. Kelly Clarkson, I noticed her earlier in the pandemic and it was on TV and I walked past and I'm like, she's not wearing any makeup. And to me, that was like, oh, I would never go on television without makeup. But you know what? Props to her for having the confidence to do that. For me personally, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh my goodness.
I
where's my
never
mascara?
wear makeup. I feel fine.
And that's the thing. I do envy you to a certain degree. All you guys that don't have to wear it, that's awesome.
Well,
but yeah, I have to.
In my case, you can tell I don't wear makeup. Oh, I apologize up front.